Communication. One cannot not communicate. Being silent as well as inactive or non-verbal behaviour patterns which express a meaning. Watzlawick. Non-verbal communication supports verbal communication. Meta-communication is defined as communicating about the communication. Success in achieving the objectives of a message requires the matchings of a verbal, non-verbal and contextual meanings. If a sender fails to communicate clearly, leaving bits of information to be read between the lines, they can then afterwards claim to have been misunderstood. In order to make communication effective, it is necessary to send information in line with the receiver's decoding abilities, synchronize verbal and non-verbal channels, concentrate not only on the informational aspect of the message, increase the number of communication channels. Information is intended to reduce uncertainty for the receiver. It is measured in bits. Each bit of information reduces uncertainty by 50%. Elements of communication prone to malfunctioning: sender, receiver, coding, and decoding. If the sender finds the receiver competent, he or she tends to reduce verbal redundancy content of his sentences. If he or she finds him incompetent, he tends to simplify the content of sentences. Feedback is the process of responding to a sender by confirming the reception of a message. It guarantees the understanding of a message without adding new information to it. Helpful and constructive feedback should be individually tailored to the receiver's background, formulated subjectively and personally, actual and specific in regard to the concerned situation. Professional languages. Professional communication means using a restricted and specific language, tailored to minimize misunderstanding. Professional languages use a limited vocabulary. Context provides meaning, therefore reduces the risk of ambiguities. With regard to the practice of English, all pilots should master it, because the aeronautical world needs one common language. The main reason for disturbance in the correct reception of a message, NASA, in incidents linked with ground-to-crew communication, is listening errors. Inter-cockpit communication. Communication in a cockpit uses up resources, thus limiting the resources allocated to work in progress. Problems in the personal relation between crew members are very likely to hamper communication. Discussing private matters in the cockpit can improve team spirit. An increase in workload usually leads to a shorter and less frequent exchange of information. The intended recipient of a message must be able to reject or postpone a communication attempt if the pilot is too busy, stabilize or finish a challenging maneuver before starting a discussion.